All right. So today we're talking about comments on your site. And so when by default, when you go to a story, I click into a story here on my demo site. At the bottom, your readers will have the option to leave a comment. It's also, and that's also this icon that shows up over here. And so the way I have my demo site set up, I can leave a comment here. I've got it set to display my comment policy, and I'm not sure if there's a max. There is not. So if you would like to borrow just this placeholder comment policy, I've put that in the chat. Feel free to copy and paste that. It's just kind of our placeholder comment policy. You can adapt that as you need. But I'll show you today how you can set that up to display for your readers to see before they leave a comment. We also have it set up so that after I make a comment and tell the site that I'm a human, once I submit it, it's already tied to my email because I've commented before. If I've never commented on the site, I must provide my name and email. It didn't do that for me here because I'm logged in, so it knows the site knows my name and email. But if I was a visitor to the site, I would be prompted to show that. Another thing to be aware of, just that your reporters might want to be aware of, is if they are logged into the site because they are users on the site, their comment will just automatically go live. So just have them be aware of that, that if they want to make a comment and have it go through kind of the natural process, they'll want to do so without being logged into the site. Typically, the way that will work then is on your dashboard, you'll see your comments here, and you can just click into those. You've got the number, which are the pending comments waiting to be posted. So again, if your user is logged into the site, their comment will just naturally post there. So you can always come in here and unapprove it, which will not make it visible to the public. You could reapprove it there, or if you no longer wish to see it, you can just send it to trash there. In the comments field here, you can see which story the comment applies to. You can also then see a red box or a green box. This kind of gets to that message I was showing, or that message I was talking about, where the commenter provides their name and their email address. So if you see a red box, they have not clicked the email that automatically goes to them then after they send a comment, that they click to verify that they are the owner of that email address. So the purpose behind that verification was to prevent people from, imitating principal or, somebody else at the school. So while it is helpful and pretty straightforward with the red and green box there, I would also, make sure you coach your staff to carefully scrutinize that email address, as it, would be somewhat simple to create a Gmail or, Yahoo email address with somebody's name if it wasn't already taken. So make sure you kind of scrutinize those email addresses carefully. But if it does look legit, you can approve that. And I believe you need to be an editor in order to approve comments on the site, but you can approve that and then it will go live on the site. Until you approve it, though, it just kind of lives in limbo here on the site, and you'll just kind of see that number increase on your site, and that's the number of pending comments there. So that's how comments work after they've come into the site. And for your users, on individual stories, if you had, say, a piece that was controversial, or for whatever reason you feel that it shouldn't allow comments, maybe you feel the comments might get out of hand, on the bottom here you should see a box that says discussion, and that will allow you to turn off comments for an individual story if you need to do that. If you don't see that box, then just come up here to the Screen Options tab and make sure that the discussion box is clicked. And once you do that, you might need to refresh the page, but then you'll see the discussion box there in the bottom of the left column, which will allow you to turn comments on or off at the individual story level. On the other hand, if you would like to turn off comments site-wide, which some people, the top field there, good question again, that's called Screen Options. So it appears in this kind of hidden tab up at the top of the story editing interface, and you can just click that and it will drop down and open up, and then you're going to want to look for the Discussion tab. And then to turn off comments site-wide, you'll go to hover over the SNO dashboard, go to the design options, which is the bottom button there on that dropdown, and then navigate to the comments and sharing section. In the left column, the first box there, that's what you can click to turn comments off for the entire site. So, if for whatever reason your school has decided not to allow comments, that's where you can disable comments site-wide. If you use the Student News Source app or the College News Source app, comments are tied to how they're handled on the site. So if you turn off comments on a story on the site, it should also turn it off on the app. If you find that's not the case, send us a support ticket and we will be happy to look into that for you, figure out why that's not functioning, because they should be linked together. On the same hand, kind of conversely, if you disable comments on the entire site, it should disable them on the Student News Source or College News Source app as well. Also in this field, you can plug in that comments policy. So again, if you are interested, I've placed a placeholder comment policy that you're free to borrow in the chat here. So you can feel free to update that, or if you and your editors have your own comment policy that you would like to display before your reader comments, then you can just enter that right here. And again, to get to this field, I hover over the SNO dashboard dropdown, go to Design Options, and that's going to open me up to a window somewhere here in SNO Design Options. And then in that field, I'm going to select the Comments and Sharing tab. And that allows me to turn on or off comments on the entire site. You also have the option of whether or not to allow readers to include hyperlinks in their comments. We do have spam filters on the comments, but just kind of realize by default that is not turned on, as you never know where people might link out to. So by default, that's turned off. But if you want to allow that, you can turn it on there. And that email verification tool that I was referencing, where people receive an email from us after they make a comment, where they have to enter their name and email, you can disable that. You'll get this message saying that we strongly discourage that to avoid people, impersonating someone else. However, you do have the option to disable that if you choose to do so. And then if you have a comments policy, you can show whether it's there whenever somebody just clicks that leave a comment button, or only when they kind of hover over the text box. So you have a couple options there. If you make any changes here, once you do that, make sure to save all design options. My recommendation would probably be, if you have a comment policy, just always show that policy. That way it's just right there, right in the reader, kind of right in your face, hard to miss, and people wouldn't be able to plead ignorance. All right, so I think that is kind of everything there on how you can set up your comments. On the design side of things, in our new story template editor, And there's a full other webinar about this one. So if you want to dig into this, go ahead and please request the link for that webinar. But in the comments link section here, it's not a ton of exciting design options, but you could choose to remove the comments link. And so with that in mind, you might say every time that we use the dual sidebars template, that template is going to be used and we're just not going to allow comments there. So that is one other way that you can kind of specify what templates may or may not allow comments. Also then, as far as design options for this leave a comment area, you've got fonts you can change. You can change that background color and then adjust the padding and the margin. But again, not a ton as far as design for that leave a comment field, but you can punch it up a little bit if you choose to do so. And in the social icons, you can, that comment field that showed up on the story, that will just naturally show up there as a social icon if you're showing them, as long as comments are allowed. And that's that kind of speech bubble box. It doesn't show on my preview here, but if I have comments enabled, it will show up as one of those social icons. So that's how you can kind of adjust the design of the comment area. And again, you can, in the SNO design options, comments and sharing, add in that comments policy. Would definitely strongly encourage that. If you haven't thought about that before, definitely something to consider if you're allowing comments. Yeah. Yep. And that is pretty much everything having to do with comments. So not seeing any further questions about the comments. I'm going to stop the recording and would just say, if you have any questions about comments, please do feel free to send us a support ticket and we'll be happy to help you with that. So thank you very much and hope to see you at future webinars.